Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event. Fight fans worldwide, you've tuned into the #1 undisputed boxing podcast today. This is the Boxing Breakdown. Now, your heavy-handed, hard-hitting host, Mark Roxey.
What's up, and welcome to another edition of the Boxing Breakdown. I am your host, Mark Roxey, and I am here with my partner in crime, Mr. Harold Hunt. What's up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good,
Good to
Harold.
be here.
Yeah, it's a wonderful Sunday afternoon, evening, and yeah, thank you for being with us. If you are joining us on Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, we appreciate it. You can also find us on iHeartRadio. You can find us on Spotify. You can get us wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're tuning in on YouTube, thank you for being with us. Don't forget to smash the like, subscribe, and the notifications button there so that you can be informed when we go live. And here we are live. And we invite you guys to jump on in. Come into the chat whenever you like. And yeah, we're going to get started here. We have on today's episode, we are going to do a preview of Devin Haney versus Vasily Lomachenko, who, I mean, we've been talking about this for years, 2 or 3 years, and all these fights are starting to line up. We're going to follow up a discussion on some of the other lightweights that are out there that are certainly in the mix, and just trying to flush out what the lightweight landscape is going to look like in the coming 6 months. So we'll get into that, and then we're also going to talk about Crawford and Spence, the upcoming pending mega fight, another mega fight, and then we'll round out the evening with a little discussion on the upcoming boxing schedule. So Harold, tell me, man, how you been?
Oh, I've been good, man. Just relaxing and just looking forward to everything that's coming up here. Just went to a cookout yesterday and had a good time, and this rounds it out.
Yes, and the weather down in the ATL, it must be nice down there. It must be nice and warm already.
Well, it rained hard last night. It did, but it cleared up nicely. So we're looking good now.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
Yeah, no, we've been smashed with rain.
Have you?
Yeah, the rain that you guys got in Atlanta down here in the Philly region, we got smashed with the same rain. And apparently this is going to continue for like another week, but you know, it's rain, go away. But hey, we can sit inside and watch boxing all day. So Harold,
yes.
Yeah, man.
Let it rain.
Yeah. So for those of you that are tuning in, man, we got this incredible fight that's coming up against Vasily Lomachenko and Devin Haney. So, I mean, just to start this off, this conversation, right? I mean, we know that Vasily Lomachenko is 17-2, no draws. He's 35 years old, and we know that Devin Haney is 29-0, no losses, no draws, and he's 29 years old. This is going to be an interesting fight, Harold. Tell the listeners what your opening comments are on this fight.
Devin Haney is a well-schooled fighter. His father really reached out to pick up as much information as possible to help him where he is. I judged Devin about the 10th fight, and his father came up to me and asked me what could he have done better. He actually gave me his number, and we spoke about maybe 5 times about what I thought Devin could use. And I am, just someone in the street who loves boxing, but he reached out to me, and I am not of note. So I know he used that same strategy with every other person who's come in contact with his son's career.
Yeah.
That shows me that Haney has a discipline to stay out of a situation where he could lose the fight.
Right.
And that alone, that mandate from that father shows me that, I believe they know they can win that fight if they do it properly. Yeah. As far as Lomachenko, he's in a situation where he has a bad fight, then he has a good fight. Then he has a bad fight, then he has a good fight. So he's on his good fight streak, if you want to say it. Yeah. So he's looking to really move the bar, and reclaim the greatness. Haney can take a loss. Lomachenko, he cannot at all.
Yeah.
So those two elements are interesting, but just the mindset that Devin has already should bear out for them.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look, if we go back to the Teofimo Lopez loss, which took place in October 17th of 2020, that took place in the bubble. It was during COVID, and he fought Teofimo Lopez. I remember that fight, everybody saying, oh man, why is this fight? Why didn't they not wait for this fight? Why did it take place in the bubble? But, nonetheless, it did go the 12 rounds. Vasily Lomachenko came up a little short. I believe the scores were 112-116, 112-116, 109-119, and 111-117. And Teofimo won the IBF, WBA, and the WBO belts there. So since that fight, Vasily Lomachenko has come back. He has fought Nakatani. He TKO'd Nakatani in the 9th round of a 12-round contest in Las Vegas. And then he, when was that? That was, I guess that was January 6th of, I think it was this past year. I'm not sure.
That was good.
Maybe it was 2 years ago. No.
He rocked that boy. He had to.
Yeah, he did. He did rock him. I'm just trying to remember when that took place. Oh, no. That was July 26th. July 26th. My eyes are failing me. 2021. There you go. There you go, fans. Just in case you thought I lost my brain space there. Yeah, and then after, he squares off in December of 2021, not shortly after, against Richard Comey. And he gets a unanimous decision against Richard Comey, 12 of 12. And then he comes back again. And in October of 2022, he fights Jermaine Ortiz. And he gets a unanimous decision win again in a 12-round contest. So, Vasily Lomachenko is on a 3-fight winning streak after, the loss to Teofimo Lopez. And I think the only other fight that the guy ever had was against, you have to go back to, this is for the fans, Harold. I know you know this, but we have to go back all the way to March 1st of 2014 when he squared off against Orlando Salido and he lost. And I got a split decision loss to Salido.
Welcome to the big leagues, kid.
Yeah, it was I think it was his second fight, but yes, that was the resounding message. Welcome to the big leagues. But ever since there, he had a pretty perfect record until he squared off again against Teofimo Lopez. And the question becomes, and if you have an opinion, please put it in the comments here. Whether or not Teofimo just had a better night, whether Loma had a bad night, what actually happened there. So, call it a fluke, whatever. He's come back for, 3 fights and here we go again, Lomachenko has 50, almost a 58% KO ratio, Harold.
Yeah, but he wasn't knocking anybody out these last 3.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, he didn't knock anybody out in knockout fashion in the last 3 fights. So he
had to work. He had to work.
Yeah.
Now he's got to work in a different way, but he had to work.
Yeah.
He should have been dropping them boys, but he didn't. He went all the way with them.
Yeah.
Got hit too. And he's older.
Yeah, for sure. If we go back a little bit to, Devin Haney's career, Devin Haney back in 2021, I'm just trying to go to around the same time. Actually, 2020, he faced off against Yurokis Gamboa, and he got a unanimous decision win there. And then he fought, Jorge Linares, and he got another unanimous decision win there. Then he fought Joseph Diaz, and he got another unanimous decision win there. Next fight, George Kambosos won. He gets a unanimous decision there. George Kambosos 2 back in Melbourne, and he gets another unanimous decision. And so here we go. He's facing off against Vasily Lomachenko on May 20th of 2023. And so, the argument could be made, this is going to be a really interesting fight because both of the fighters haven't really stopped anyone since roughly 2020.
So you're saying with a lot of nice punches can be landed on either side, an exciting fight because nobody can knock the other one out and all this. Well, yeah, it's tasty. It's tasty, but it has an element. It could be a stinker too.
You think it could be a stinker? You think the fight will be a stinker?
It could be if whatever posture they take.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. What posture do you think they're going to take to make it a stinker? What would make it a stinker?
No, it could be a stinker.
So if they both stay on the outside, if they both are, neither one of them is coming forward and they're just trying to score points and let the rounds go by, it could be how would you say, like a fight drain, right?
No, well, for the purists, it'd be poetry. We'll see the brilliance in both of them. For the average fan, it may not be tantalizing, simple.
Yeah.
But we're looking at elite skill sets.
Oh, for sure.
But they're going to be appreciated by different people. I'm talking about purists, it's gold. For the fans, maybe it may not be.
Yeah.
That's when I say stinker. Or they could just step in like Ali Frazier, the Thriller, where they just couldn't really hurt each other, knock each other out.
Yeah.
And they just went for it. They were faded enough.
Yeah. Well, Vasily Lomachenko, out of the two, Harold, it's interesting to note that Vasily Lomachenko does have the higher knockout percentages, because I did not mention that Devin Haney's knockout percentage is roughly about 52%. So 60, 52. I mean, at this point, does it really make a difference? I don't know. What do you think?
That's the equalizer. That's what's great about it. It's an equal, so it could create a fight where they feel like they can stay in the pocket together.
Yeah.
Just enough lack of power on either side.
I have a
safely so they can stay in the pocket and we can get a good fight. Or, like I said, they take another posture and it doesn't go that way.
Yeah. Well, interesting that you say that, because it could be interesting to see Devin Haney stay in the pocket, because he's not a guy that likes to stay in the pocket for long. He usually will draw you out and eat as you make your mistakes. So it could be interesting to see both of these guys actually try to trade on one another. And what comes to mind is I really don't think that Devin Haney would win that inside battle just because of the footwork.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes, I was getting ready to say that. Inside. He doesn't like the inside. If he gets inside, he'll tie up. Okay. Yeah. He'll tie up every time. He'll tie up. Okay. Because he does that, he doesn't really have the inside game. He really tie up. But Lomachenko, from what I've seen, what I've heard, and different people have said or whatever, he knows how to break up the tie up.
Oh, yeah.
So he's not going to get a chance. He's not going to let Devin tie up.
Yeah.
So he's not going to let Devin's going to tie up. He's going to try, and he's going to stop Devin from tying up, and he gets to work on the inside. So Devin's got to come in with a better inside game because he's going to be forced to have one.
Right.
Now, if the referee is there and the referee has not a negative thing, but the referee has a different style, of course, above the law of rules, it could preclude that type of work.
Right.
So it all depends on what the referee's going to see, what he's going to not allow, but how he sees in his wheelhouse. So there's so many other factors for them to fight each other in, such a manner. So we have to just see, who's the referee going to be, and then, kind of go from there. But Devin is not, he's defensive first. He's defensive first, and he don't like the inside.
Yeah. No.
Or if he does have an inside game, we haven't seen it because he always clinches and gets out of it.
Right. Which is what I was saying. What I was kind of alluding to in the beginning is like, hey, maybe this could be a marquee fight for both of them where they can actually, create this idea that they would be an action fighter, so to speak, or specifically Devin Haney, Yeah.
If he could pull this stance into his aura, he goes decision, but look, he's standing in the pocket the whole time.
Right.
And taking them and giving them, hey, he could change his narrative. He really could.
Yeah. No, I agree. He really could. And that would be an interesting give. That would be an interesting give for the fight fans.
Yes, it would.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, but he'd be taking some punishment though.
Yeah.
Because Lomachenko's going to be hitting him at a rapid rate in a lot of different places.
Yeah, especially on that inside fight. So let's flip the script on this. Let's say this fight doesn't take place on the inside, and or the majority of the fight doesn't take place on the inside, and the fight takes place on the outside. What are we looking at?
Well, Lomachenko can jab, of course, and he'll get in and he'll use the footwork to get in and land the jab and go from there. So it's not an issue for him to go into the Devin and do the jab and get his offense off. That's not an issue. On Devin's side, his offense is just going to be with that beautiful jab, and he's just going to keep him at the end of that jab, and he's just going to be pairing him as he comes in. But Lomachenko can get in, but sometimes he can't, and sometimes he'll be scored on. So that's going to be nice to unfold which style is going to be dominant in that. But we're going to see both styles affect each fighter. There's no doubt about that. So, inside, outside, if you want to be Devin, maybe outside may be better, but then he may have an inside game we haven't seen.
Right.
So I don't know. But if it's on the outside, I like Devin to be able to keep him off because of the youth and all of that. But Lomachenko's really been coming at him with some really good stuff. He's going to be landing too. So that's going to that's a nice fight. Outside fight is a nice fight for me personally. It's a nice fight.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that fight definitely favors Devin Haney if it's an outside fight and Devin Haney is able to maintain that distance in the fight. I definitely can see that his skill sets and his attributes will probably lead him to victory in that particular case. But I mean, who's the hungrier fighter? I don't know that you can really make an argument that either one of them is more hungry than the other for different reasons, because Vasily Lomachenko understands that this is going to be like a make or break fight for him. So does that make him more hungry? And then with Devin Haney, Devin is he's got big fish to fry in the division. So how aggressive, how aggressive will he be coming into this fight? Be very interesting to see.
even if Devin loses, he'll still be the marquee guy. He'll still be the guy. He'll still get all the fights with all them other guys.
Yeah.
He'll still have it. He'll still get it. He'll still get it. He'll still get all those fights he wanted, even with the loss. I'm not saying he's going to have a loss. I'm just saying even with the loss, because he even if he don't have those belts,
yeah,
he got that now. He got that. So, that's a concern. I don't really see that. Like you said, Lomachenko's situation is different only because, this is his last kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he can be a really nice, dare I say the word, gatekeeper. I mean,
yeah.
I know that's a derogatory term sometimes, but yeah, well, you're spanking my hand for it. But what I'm saying is he can lose and he'll fight a lot of those guys, but he won't be looked at to win those fights.
Yeah.
He'll get to run the whole block like everybody else.
Right.
But he won't be looked at as a possible, winner of those fights.
Yeah.
So he must win this fight to keep that stance, to keep that status, that side of the fence.
Yeah, no, listen, man. I mean, I'm just looking at the caliber of opposition that both guys have faced. And it should be noted, Vasily Lomachenko's been in the ring with Guillermo Rigondeaux, and
but he was a weight bully. You get nothing for that.
Well, I mean, these are serious fighters in the division. These guys that I'm gonna name are very, very, to their credit. You can throw that one out. Well, you can throw that one out. I'm just saying that, the guys that he's fought, Jorge Linares. Now, you talk about a gatekeeper, and I'm sure he would be glad to call himself the gatekeeper, because if you get past Jorge Linares is a big puncher. You get past Jorge Linares, you might be going places, and he did. Jorge Pedraza, he took Jorge Pedraza, he beat him. Anthony Corello.
Yes. Huh? Yes. Impressively. It was beautiful. It was Picasso. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not diminishing any of that.
No, of course not. No, I mean, but also Luke Campbell too,
Okay.
Luke Campbell, Teofimo Lopez, although, I would like them to run that fight back, to be honest. On a side note, I would love to see Vasily Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez run that back. Pending the outcome of this fight, that would be a great action fight. Both of them.
That's when you hold that for 3 or 4 years, 4 years,
right?
5 years. You pull that one up at the very end when you get ready to cash out. You don't do that now, man.
Yeah, that would be like a Mickey Ward to Toro Gotti, right at the very end. That would be a big fight for sure.
But it would be a good fight though, because especially what they did upcoming to that fight, these next 3 years or 2 years, what they do,
Yeah, no.
There's some nice fights that can sit on the stove.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'd be very interested to see that fight. But then again, Devin Haney, man, I would love to see. We're already going into the next topic here. We've already started to loom ourselves right into the Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Tank Davis, Teofimo Lopez, and whoever else we want to mix up in that weight division. Because Lord knows there's a lot of talent in that particular weight division. So, this conversation is really about what do we do with Tank and Haney? How's that play out?
Tank and Haney. Okay, well, Shakur is a defensive first fighter. So he's saying, you can't hit me, but I must hit you. I got to hit you, but you just can't hit me. So his defense is first.
All right.
Whereas Tank is he runs you into stuff.
Right.
He baits you into stuff and then he'll drop it on you. So he'll run you in. If Shakur's not coming in trying to be aggressive and defensive first, he may not play into that wheelhouse.
Right.
So, but Tank is talented enough to go either way. So they'll both box to an extent, but Shakur may be able to win the rounds.
Right.
10-9, 10-9. And then that one may force Tank to go drop the hammer. Because Equalizer, if he hit him, he can go down. Everybody basically goes down. Shakur can go down too, but he'll get up. But I'm saying he can go down. So
right.
It's a good fight. It's a good fight. It's a really good fight. And we have to see how they're going to, go through with it. But the defensive posture always works out. And it's like Tank gets to fight Floyd because Shakur Stevenson is the closest thing to Floyd that Tank's going to see now.
Yeah.
And he gets opportunity to see if he can match himself against his own idol.
Right.
Because Shakur is the closest thing to Floyd. The defensive thing, the offense, the placement, the movement, that's as close as Floyd can get. So it'd be a good fight for Tank to see if he could solve that style.
Right.
That's going to be good. But then Shakur is just, otherworldly. He's got all of it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a one-hit quitter.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean
that we've seen yet.
Not that we've experienced in the ring where we yeah. It's more like, his last fight, I think he fought this kid, Yoshiro Yushiendo. I think that was the guy that he fought. And
who?
Shakur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just recently fought him at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. And in that fight, he stopped him. But the ref stopped the fight. But, the argument could be made that the guy was going to go to sleep. The way the fight looked, the way it looked at that moment. So he could have gotten that one-hit quitter in that fight if the ref didn't stop it early,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he knew he was sharp. Anybody would have went out that night. He was too sharp.
Yeah.
It didn't matter the opposition. He was just really, really sharp.
Yeah.
So when you're sharp like that, it doesn't matter who's over there on the other end.
Right.
He just got to be sharp like that when he fights other people. But he was extremely sharp, and that other fighter was a doable fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was able to get a lot of angles and drop a lot of punches. He was able to show almost a lot of his style.
Right.
It was nice.
Yeah, just to go back to the Vasily Lomachenko and Devin Haney, I was just thinking that Devin Haney also has some significant. He has about 4 or 5 inches in height in this fight. That's going to be going for him as well. And,
but the reach is what, 1 inch extra? That's it. Something not long.
The reach, I think. Let's see. No, so it's about 5 inches, Harold. I think Devin Haney's reach is 70.9 inches, and Vasily Lomachenko's reach is 65.35 inches, 166 centimeters. But yeah, I mean, he's
gonna land the jab. That's a given. I mean,
there's no doubt.
It doesn't even matter. The inches have no consequence whatsoever.
Yeah,
he's gonna land this jab how he wants to land it. It's not going to be negated.
Yeah, it's really, folks, it's really an interesting fight on paper because, you can see these attributes that we're trying to pull out for you so you can really hear what we're talking about. But I think there's something else here. I think the fact that both of them have this, this propensity for not knocking people out, so to speak. They're not big punchers, although Vasily Lomachenko, again, 62.5% KO ratio versus 52% KO ratio for Devin Haney. The thing is that Loma has gone for the knockout more often than not. And Devin Haney is very comfortable just gliding into victory. So that I'm just saying that, with that height differential, it'll be interesting to see how the Haney camp prepares for this fight and what kind of game plan they have in store for Vasily Lomachenko and vice versa. And whether or
it's
not
not to knock him out. It's not to knock him out.
Yeah.
They're not going to go in there and try to knock him out.
Right.
So at least one or the other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we saw
be the other.
We saw this fight with. Do you think there's a comparison at all to George Camboso's fight
What?
The George Camboso fight against Devin Haney.
This is what, something like that?
Yeah. Do you think it's going to kind of look like that?
No. Okay. We're talking about Lomachenko. We're talking about a different car. We're talking about a different skill set, different movement, one of different angles than Camboso. Camboso's an excellent fighter. He is, but in his genre, he is what he is. No, that's not going to be similar. Right. That thing will not dance the same. No.
Interesting. Y'all heard that. You heard it from Harold. He doesn't think it's going to be a repeat again of similar fight tactics and similar fight that happened with George Cambosos. And to the point, I do think Vasily Lomachenko's coming. Mr. High Tech is going to come with some high tech skills to try to, regain, division superiority, if you will. Because
youth must be served.
Yeah, man.
Youth must be served.
Yeah, so let's just really quickly jump into the rankings here. Okay, these are just loose rankings. This is my source rankings. We got Shakur Stevenson, king of the division. They're calling him the king of the division. You guys can, you don't have to agree with me. And Harold, I like to know that you don't disagree with me. That would be great. And then, we've got Gervonta Davis is 2. Followed by Devin Haney, followed by number 4, who's George Cambosos. He's right up in there. 5 is Vasily Lomachenko. 6 is
Frank. Who did you say was 1 again? I missed that.
Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson, the belle of the ball, the king of the hill.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. We got number 7. We got Ryan Garcia still in the mix, still up there. Still, he's still a player. You got Isaac Cruz as number 10. Right, William Zepeda, who just won the other night. He just, what was the guy's name that he fought? Excuse me, but he just fought Abolidia. That was the guy's name, something like that. Abolidia. I be smashing these guys' names, Harold. I smash them.
Sometimes you do pretty good.
Yeah, but Abolidia. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but basically Zepeda just stopped him. And so he's still up there. He's still in the rankings at number 8. These are loose rankings here, right? And Isaac Cruz is still a player at number 10, man. He's still a player. I don't think he comes out of the mix at all with these other fighters. You got winners and then you got losers of all these fights that are going to come up. And, you got to factor in Isaac Cruz as a player in the division. Once one of these guys loses, he might be able to climb himself right back up to title contention. Who knows? Same with Vasily Lomachenko, same with George Cambosos. I mean, this is turning out to be a really competitive division filled with losers.
Yeah, there's a lot of money there.
Yeah.
That's all those people you name.
Yeah.
Man, they all can get good fights. And what's happening that at this point, you got enough of them with the same type of records, the same type of losses that is still palatable to the promoters and the fans. So yeah, there's a lot of money. That's hot money roll right there.
Yeah. No, I mean, absolutely. And I didn't mean like losers. I mean, they're all winners. We all know that. All of them.
Yeah. But for them to all have the same type of record in the same financial pool, able to fight amongst each other and make money, that is a good pool to be in.
Yeah. I mean, Frank Martin is 17-0. He doesn't have a loss. And William Zepeda is 28-0 with no losses. But pretty much the landscape in the division outside of Frank Martin and outside of William Zepeda, all the other guys have losses with the exception of Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, and Shakur Stevenson. So, somebody's O has got to go. And I can't stay. I mean, but listen, I really would love to see the Shakur Stevenson versus Gervonta Davis fight. I think that Shakur, he may not be fully baked yet. He may need a couple of other, maybe 1 or 2 other fights to get him ready. Possibly, but that's up to his handlers. I could make that argument, but I also think that he could get right in there and mix it up with Gervonta Davis or Devin Haney, or, I think he's more likely to call out Devin Haney if Devin Haney wins against Vasily Lomachenko, I think you'll have a Shakur Stevenson, jumping out and trying to get a fight with Devin Haney over Gervonta Davis. Thoughts?
My friend calls Shakur the pretty young boy.
Yeah.
That's what she says.
Yeah.
And he's going to be in a situation where, I agree with what you're saying. He may need some seasoning, whatever. I say run on his side, make that, and fight those 3 or 4 fights. They're not going to come together. He's ESPN and Al not right now. Let that thing go 3 years, maybe 2 years.
Right.
And let them both run their O's until, Tank don't need nobody to make any money.
Right.
He can fight you, Mark, and he's going to sell out 22,000.
Oh, please
everywhere
fight
he
me.
go. Shakur can't do that yet. He can do it at home, but he can do that going forward here.
Yeah.
So once that lines up, then they can fight. But right now, I wouldn't even try. And like you say, for you to say it benefits Shakur because he gets to get the experience, because we know Tank got the experience.
Yeah.
We know Tank fights the good fight. Tank is already right in with the best. There's no growing for him. He's at his power. He's dominant. We just got to wait for Shakur to get to that point where they can come in equally, within their skill set, and then we can have a fair matchup. But I agree with what you're saying. Let them run over there, but go make that money over there. You go make that money over here, and they're both superior boxers. They're not going to take too much punishment, and
Yeah. No, I mean
definitely, as you said, Shakur needs a little seasoning.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that if you're handling Shakur, you definitely, obviously his handlers, he's being handled by one of the best in the business and the top of the heap, top rank, incorporated. So I don't think it's an issue of them not knowing exactly what to do, exactly how to move him so that he can, he can become their world champion. He's super marketable. He's super, likable. He's an amazing kid. He's a hard worker. He stays out of trouble. He had some trouble, several years back. I think maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years back, he had some trouble.
Just the genetic stuff, very genetic.
Yeah. Very. He just wasn't like he was just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But since then, he's cleaned that up, and you don't hear anything about any kind of misbehaving, or he's just a blue chip. He's really a blue chip. Is the best. I don't mean to call him a blue chip, but he is. He's
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, man. He's one of the guys in the division, in especially in the lightweight division, where you really, if you've got him signed, you've got some serious longevity. I kind of see his career going similarly to Floyd Mayweather Jr. Yeah, I see his career ending up very similar, provided now he can get past the next 2 or 3 tests, because the next 2 or 3 tests, people are calling for him to step up and make some real fights. And, he
just got there. He just got to the division. He just got there.
Mm-hmm.
So his next fight shouldn't be Tank and all that.
Yeah.
No.
I actually feel that he's even a better fighter at this division than he was in the lower weight. I do. I really feel like he's more exciting to watch. He's got a little bit more weight. He's carrying a little bit more weight. He's filled out really nicely. I kind of like him fighting here at lightweight, and I think that he's going to do really, really well in this division. Stacking him up against a guy like Ryan Garcia, I think that's pretty easy fight. Stacking him up against George Kambosos, I think it's going to be an easy fight. Vasily Lomachenko, most likely an easy fight. Frank Martin, yet to be determined. Ryan, again, William Zepeda, easy fight. Now Isaac Cruz could be a little bit of a problem.
he beats them all, man, including Tank. He beats them all.
Yeah.
He beats them all.
I'm playing devil's advocate
Now,
here.
he may not beat them all the first time.
Yeah.
If you don't beat them all the first time, he'll still go back and beat them all because he's got the skill set. They may get one,
right,
or they may get none.
Yeah.
But he's going to beat them all because he's got the supreme skill set.
Right.
He's the class of the division to me.
Yeah. So listen,
we're not even talking about that.
Right. So Harold, I just want to make sure the listeners know, listen, if you guys are listening to us here, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. I hope you're enjoying our conversation, our deeply passionate conversation on Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. And I mean, I want you to take a moment and visit us on Facebook. Make sure you like the Boxing Breakdown on Facebook. You can actually watch it live on Facebook. We are live on Facebook right now, and we are also live on YouTube right now. So you can subscribe to YouTube, and you can get all of that there as well. And don't forget to hit us on Instagram at the Boxing Breakdown, and you'll see all the all kinds of stuff over there as well. And just wanted to bring that up. If you're listening in your radio, in your car, wherever, if you have your podcast available, you want to find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. We are there, and we would love for you to find us on all these platforms. Please, please, please. And so back to the program. I want to actually say, Harold, I need you to tell me, what do you think about the Crawford-Spence fight? Is that a done deal? Tell the listeners.
No, it's not a done deal.
No?
Crawford, no, it's not.
Sure.
There's a possibility that we have to just wait and see what Spence is going to do. I think Crawford is in on it, and I think who can pull the trigger is Spence. And
right.
That's basically it. So Crawford just wants to do it now and Spence. So that's the entire premise of all the talk, all the speculation, all of that. Crawford's already in.
Okay.
He just wants to do it. So it all rests on, Spence. And, Spence is the A side. So Spence is going to do what he wants to do.
Right.
So we just have to wait and see how that goes out. But I'm glad it's picking up steam again, Mark. It's nice to talk. We've had a couple big fights, right? We got another one coming up. It'd be nice to add this to the plate. So maybe it's just some pressure, not pressure, but maybe, the boxing fans are being satisfied or whatever. And it's kind of prodding those guys. I'm thinking we got to see what the real money has been from the one just passed, Haney's. Well, no, that's not really a money fight, but we just got to see what the numbers are going to be, going forward.
Yeah.
Lopez's fight is going to be good with numbers too. So we're really going to see what's going on with that. But hey, I just see it where it is, and it's in a good place.
Well, check this out. I mean, one of the biggest fights in the history of boxing is on the verge of being made, folks. This is one of the biggest fights in the history of boxing. It will be when it happens. Now, I'm on the verge. Yeah, I know. Well, hey, listen,
key word.
Yeah. I mean, this is what it is. But, the thing that kind of is a little alarming about this is that today is April 30th. We're talking about this mega fight taking place on July 22nd in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena, right? So it's also going to be a Showtime pay-per-view. I'm not too concerned about the pay-per-view because people won't buy until the last minute anyway. But, the arena itself and how they're going to fill in the arena, if they're talking about a fight on the 22nd, I guess maybe they're just counting on the demand being so very great that it's just going to go, as soon as they announce it, it's off.
Is this signed, Mark? Is this signed?
Well, or is
it still speculation?
So it's not speculation. What they're saying, no, it's not. The reports are as follows, okay? They say the Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight is booked. They're working out a couple of the little minor, quote unquote, minor
Excellent.
details for the final negotiation for a fight on July 22nd in Las Vegas. And they have announced that the fight will take place at the T-Mobile Arena, and it will be broadcast on Showtime pay-per-view. So this is happening, Harold. Okay.
Oh,
I mean, unless someone pulls out or someone gets an injury, or you know how this stuff goes. I mean, everybody that listens to the podcast knows exactly how this stuff goes. Everybody knows.
There have been contracts.
Yeah. Well, Spence is, he returns to defend his IBF, WBA, and WBC titles against Crawford. He hasn't fought since a win over Urocas. Urocas Gamboa, not Gamboa. Come on, please. Eudenis Ugas last April, where he won a 10th round TKO. So he hasn't really fought since then, Harold. So I don't know, man. It's going to be a big, big deal, though. This fight is huge.
It's booked, right?
It's booked, so, quote unquote.
Okay, but we haven't seen any contracts. Am I missing something? Are you being vague? What?
No, I'm not. I'm not being vague. I exist within the boxing paradigm, and because I exist within the boxing paradigm, none of us knows what could happen. We just know, right? This is what I know. It came over the wire. This is wire news. It's not private news. It's public news. So you can read about it yourself. If you want to go to ESPN, go to, I'm not going to plug any of the other, platforms, but you can go anywhere you find, information about the fight. And
okay. Do you believe it? Do you believe it?
Hell yeah, I believe it. Of course I believe it. You know why I believe it? Because I'm a believer. I'm a believer in good things happening to those of us that really we just kind of manifest this stuff, Harold. You know why? We've been manifesting.
That's a Beatles song.
Yeah, and we've been manifesting the Gervonta Davis fight. We've been manifesting Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, George Cambozo, Vasily Lomachenko. Shakur Stevenson has now come up into the mix, and we hadn't been talking about him 3 years ago, except go listen to the podcasts. You remember, Harold, years ago, I was like, you got to watch Shakur. He is going to be the guy to beat. I said that years ago. And the reason I know that is because he comes from the LBC, USA Boxing. Shout out amateur USA Boxing. The folks at USA Boxing do an amazing job. I'm an official and a chief of officials and a official in charge. That's what it is. And, he
runs the show over there. He runs all the officials.
Yeah. But I've been to
his beck and call. He gets to put his hands on all the great.
Stop, Harold. Listen, I've been watching Shakur amateurs since he was 15 years old. And he's been boxing for longer than that. But we've run in the same circles for years because I come out of the LBC, the amateur, program in New Jersey. Shout out Jackie Atkins for your.
He's the best. He's the best. I said that.
Yeah, man. But I'm saying what I'm saying to you is that I've been saying Shakur's the dude. He's coming. This was even before he was in the Olympics. Even before he, when Floyd was potentially going to sign him. I don't know if you remember that, folks, but years ago. Prior to him going to the Olympics, he won a silver medal in the Olympics. But prior to him going to the Olympics, I remember saying Shakur's going to dominate. At the time, I didn't know what division he was going to end up in because I remember when he was a 125-pound amateur fighter. So, looking at him now, it's like you're looking at a completely different guy. But, we're very, very proud of him up here on the East Coast. I mean, everybody loves Shakur, and we know the guy can fight. It's not like he's a likable guy, and that's why we like him. We like him because the guy, he can fight.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw him, he had all the skill sets. He had all the turning, all of that. He had it all.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, wow, this dude's got all the tool chest right here, and he's showing it all.
Yeah.
And So you saw him at 20 at amateur. I saw him when he came, and so there's no doubt about that. But yeah, seeing him develop to where he is now, so where he can go. Yeah. And you said he needed some more fights. You said he needed some more fights too. So where his progression is.
Yeah.
So
no.
You're still following it and adding to it. Did you help him with any of his technique?
No. I had no involvement other than working as an official and being involved in the periphery of New Jersey boxing and seeing him at all the fights and all the tournaments and everything. Up in New York at Gleason's, I'd see him there, when he was a young would-be star. So no, I have
beautiful, Mark.
Yeah,
that's beautiful. You right there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I followed him forever. The Newark Mayor's Belt tournaments. I mean, I remember watching him fight down in there in that area, and we've all crossed paths many times. But all I'm saying,
he sold out in Newark.
No, because listen, when he fights it's not just Newark. It's not just Newark. It's in New Jersey. He is and Philadelphia as well. He's a blue chip. Everybody loves him. Everybody comes out to watch him fight, and he's just going to grow in popularity because when everybody else around the world gets to know what we know about him, they're going to see, because he's really an amazing kid and man, actually. And I do know his grandfather Wally very well, and Wally, great man, amazing man, does so much for amateur boxing in New Jersey. You can always find him out there, at an amateur show. He's always at the shows, always encouraging the kids. I remember the last show I did where he was there was this past summer. I was doing a show. I was officiating a show, and I was at the concession stand, and he bought me a hot dog. He bought me he bought me some food. Like he was like, "Here, let me buy that for you." I was like, "Oh, thanks, Wally." He's that kind of guy. He's just a really.
Did you guys compare notes?
Oh,
did
yeah.
You guys chop up Secure style? And
no,
did you
no,
offer nothing like that?
No, not really. I mean, the thing is that as a trainer, the one thing that we don't do
is talk shop.
No, we don't. No, I talk to other trainers all the time, but it's not a conversation we're going to go up and say, "Hey, Wally, you know what you should do? You know what I think you should do? This is what I think you should do." Yeah, no. So we talk about, "Hey, how's Shakur doing? What's he doing?" I mean, so of course everybody asks them that. So no, everybody knows each other here.
Okay, we'll just be off topic just quickly. Speaking of trainers,
yeah.
Tank's trainer,
yeah,
is offering his services to who? Garcia. He said that he will train Garcia. He'll accept him with open arms.
Wow.
Tank's trainer,
has
offered to train Garcia.
Wow. That's big. That's huge.
Well, it's nice posturing, but
yeah, I mean, I don't listen.
It's interesting, isn't it? Is it not?
Well,
yes,
listen.
It is.
You're touching on something that I have a lot to say about, actually, Harold.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
of course.
I have a lot to say about it because I know that Ryan Garcia. We talked a lot about the fight and, whether or not he could get up and what, speculating. I mean, that's our job, guys. We bring up the topics. I'm sure you're sitting there going, he couldn't get up. Listen, I know I've placed that the same body shot on people, and they don't get up. They don't. And I've watched fighters that I've worked with hit people with that body shot, and you will not get up. You can't. It's involuntary. You don't control that. So it's easy for us watching on a television or being in the arena saying, "Oh, he looked like he could get up, man. That dude could get up." Listen, if you've never been hit with the shot,
You don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. You could say all you want about what he did and how he did it. And, Ryan Garcia is a world champion. The guy has more guts to be in the ring, period, doing what he did against what I would call a devastating, defensively superior master of boxing. And he took the fight. He took the big fight. He opened up the Pandora's box of big fights. And he led a whole generation of fighters saying, dude, step up and fight. Stop hiding behind your winning record and take a real fight. And he did that. So my hat goes off to him. I heard Dwayne talking about this, and Coach Dwayne Fenn was on the last podcast we did. And I went back and I listened to the podcast, and you know what? Dwayne was right. He was right because, and we had conversations after that. We talked about that. Ryan Garcia, my hat goes off to him because he took the fight and he did what most people wouldn't do, which is fight a killer. He did that. And, the fact is as a coach, if I'm putting my coach's hat on, then what I'm going to say, Harold, to you is that fighters need guidance. Fighters need coaching. Fighters need teachers, mentors, people that are in their camp, that are around them, that will help them with the physical, spiritual, and mental aspects of being a fighter. And what was missing and what was lapsing in the Ryan Garcia fight is that he wasn't there mentally. I do not think that he was prepared and he believed in his heart that he could win that fight.
Yeah, he kind of psyched himself out to me. He kamikaze that. He kamikaze that.
So it goes.
He was going to take that loss, but that's how his mentality. Like he went just.
Yeah, everybody talked about the fact that he used his jab in the first round beautifully. He created the proper distance and he managed the entire fight. He had the fight winning. And actually that one round where he got knocked down, that flash knockdown, he was winning that round. And I went back and looked at the judges' scores. I think one of the judges gave it a 10-10. Did you see that?
Yeah. Yes. And that's bold. I mean, that's very bold to do that, because he was winning the round and he just got, you just can't drop it. You just can't do that. So that's commendable. And that shows strength and character to do that. But yeah, it depicted exactly what happened. Yeah. But then things changed, Mark.
Yeah. No, it did change. And, this is what I was trying to allude at before, Harold. One of the things that changed, one of the things that was most significant is that he knew what he had to do, even without having, a director, a person in the corner to really, really mandate what he should be doing. He knew what he should be doing. But
that was a shot at Joe Goosen.
Well, no, I'm not. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what the role of Joe Goosen was in the camp. I don't know what Ryan Garcia's true training habits were and are as a fighter. But what I know is that he was with the Canelo camp. He's with Joe Goosen. He's doing this. He's doing that. The question, Joe Goosen came out and said it. I didn't say it. Joe Goosen said, you don't train Ryan Garcia. You collaborate with him. And I think that sums it up. That says everything you need to know about their relationship.
Like
I don't.
And you don't like that as a trainer.
No, I don't, Harold. You know why? Because this is why I don't like it. Because the fighter needs to have you. And they need to know that you 100% unequivocally are looking out for their best interests, no matter what. It's not about the money. The money is there. It's already there. It's not about the money. What it's about is that the fighter needs to have 100% trust that you are there and that the game plan will be adhered to. And in this particular instance, what I saw, what I observed myself, I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm saying what I observed is a fighter who unraveled, a fighter who decomposed in the face of
adversity.
Action. And another thing is that when you go in there and you jump in there and you do that and you just like, I'm just going to get him. You usually come back busted up. Okay. Not only because there's no patience, you're jumping in there, you're going in, you're trying to get the fighter out. You're trying to destroy that fighter. Why? Why are you trying to destroy the fighter? Well, I was listening to, and I listened to other podcasts too. I was listening to Teddy Atlas talk about this the other night. One of the things he said on his podcast was that, shout out Teddy Atlas, is that what he saw was someone who just didn't have the mental aptitude. He wanted the fight to be over. He wanted it to be over because he couldn't take the heat. He couldn't take the heat of being there fighting. Yeah. So because he wanted it to end. He didn't want it to fight. Like if it's me and I've got command over the fight, I want to stretch this thing out as long as I can. I want to savor it. I want to stretch this guy into the later rounds, and then I want to smoke him. I want to smoke them and I want it to be big and dramatic because I'm loving being in this arena. I'm loving the crowd. I'm loving winning and scoring these rounds and coming back with every round is coming back. I'm not getting touched. Everything feels good. I'm in my groove. I am a world champion. And if it were that he was feeling, that fight would have looked different. He wasn't feeling that, Harold. He was like pressure. Not. He was like, I got to get out of here. Let me go get this over with. And let me jump in there and bust him up. And guess what? So what I'm saying is that had to be done in the gym. That had to be done way before he came down the gauntlet, the corridor from his dressing room to the arena. He had to have that already.
Agreed.
And that has a lot to do with, I'm just going to collaborate with you versus this is what we're doing. And this is how you're going to do it round for round. And you got it. We got the plan. Okay. We live or die on this plan. Let's do it. We know. And everybody who watched this fight, everybody who's listening to the podcast, Harold, everybody who is in the arena, every analyst, every writer, every columnist, everybody knew that the keys to victory was for Ryan Garcia to stay long and use his jab on the outside and eat when it was time to eat. And he did not do it. And that unraveling, it's just about the mental, Harold. It's about the mental fortitude to get that done.
But on Tank's side, he wouldn't have been eating Tank. He just doesn't have that.
Yeah, no doubt.
He doesn't have that mentality. He doesn't have the acumen. He just doesn't. Short, he just doesn't have it.
So, Harold,
That's it. I know you're going to break it down and lay it out. He just doesn't have it yet.
Well, it's easy to say that. It's easy for you to say that. And and I get it.
No, it's not easy for me to say that. It's not easy for me to say that. It's not.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm not being flippant with it. I'm not.
No. So Harold, something I want to point out to you to the reason why I said what I just said to you, right, is because in the fight, right, in the actual fight, I'm going back because I want to make sure I get this right. Excuse me. In the fight, I gotta get the let me get the scores. Hold on, pull up the scores. That's what I want. I want the scores, man. Yeah. So in round one, Ryan Garcia won. Right? In round one, Ryan Garcia won round one, right? So I gotta go down and look at these scores, man. But basically the point is that even the round that he got stopped, he was winning that round. He started out winning that round, which is why one of the judges gave it a 10-10. Dave Moretti gave it a 10-10. Yes. And that's why he gave it a 10-10, because Ryan Garcia was winning. So to your point, yes, I get that, Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis really put on a masterful performance, and we know that he's a tactician. We understand that he's a defensively brilliant southpaw. And chances are that would not have ended well later in the fight. I get that. But what I'm suggesting here is that Ryan Garcia needs to have someone in his corner that he can put his trust into, that he can defeat, and so if that's going to be the Davis camp, then hey, if he's able to do that, hey, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But what I do think is he's got to stop running around from
trainer to trainer. Because he didn't have that backup, like you're saying.
Yeah.
He resorted to that kamikaze thing. He didn't have that, as you said, in between to make sure he was mentally straight. So he just took upon himself mentally to jump over the cliff.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly. So yeah. So I get that. And that's and that's what we all see. But still, maybe the acumen wasn't. Tank can do it all. He can fight in any kind of situation aggressively, whether it's defensively, offensively. You know that, like you just said. I mean, he's got the whole entire facet. So he's going to use whatever he needs to use to be successful. So he's got the whole. Does Ryan have the whole arsenal too? Can Ryan change like that?
Yeah.
And be aggressive and win. That's all. I mean, Tank just has a deeper toolbox.
Yeah.
Just it. For me, there's no mechanics and there's no all of that. But the mindset is, as you said, was paramount. The mindset was paramount, but I don't know if it really would have affected too much.
Yeah.
It would have set him up for his next fights. Well, first of all, he never had that kind of mindset going in at all.
Right.
Because like you said, he's collaborating.
Yeah.
But if he had that this time, his next fight, even if he lost this fight, it would be good because then he is subservient to understand how the game plan is to be.
Right.
So, yes, it would have been extremely positive for him to have that, even in a loss. But he didn't get that, so he jumped off the cliff.
And and that was my argument from the beginning, from the get-go, and you got that. You really got what I just said. And that my thing is, like, if his mental was stronger and if he really could look back into that corner and that coach, I don't know what Joe Goossen's role was in the camp. I do know that Joe Goossen is one of the top trainers in the world. And one of the things about him being a top trainer in the world is, do they just bring him in because it's a big fight, or was he really instrumental in the camp in devising how the 12 rounds would go? I don't have the answer because I wasn't there. But I know as a coach, when I work with a fighter, Harold, what I'm doing, right, is I sit down and I actually map out how I want every single round to go so that I can win the fight. Knowing what I know and having the best information at the time to figure out what the best game plan is for that particular fight. It's not just let's go in and win or let's get him out early. Yeah, get him out early is really a sign of like, you don't belong there. You don't want to be there, right? Get him out early. Yeah, but the pressure's too much for you, man. Get him out early. No, go in there and do your job and fight the game plan and do it masterfully, however long or short it might take. And if the knockout comes, take the knockout. But I don't think, I don't think that was what we were looking at. And so I look forward to seeing, because I do believe that Ryan Garcia is a talented fighter. I do believe that he has the possibility to be absolutely incredible and be in the division and be in boxing for many, many years to come. The question becomes, who trains him? And the decisions and the choices that get made about that can really transform where he goes next in the boxing landscape. That's the point.
So the precursor to this entire conversation was possibly going to Tank's trainer.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you digesting that?
Well, Tank's trainer is masterful. I mean, he's a masterful trainer, no doubt. You know, I mean, if
he takes Ryan and inserts his style, what do you think Ryan could be or not be?
Well, so now, okay, so excuse me. So folks, what's about to happen right now is we're about to have a conversation
that we need to save.
We're about to have it's a great conversation. We're just about rounded out our podcast, but it's a conversation about what style of a trainer would be best for Ryan Garcia. And it's a great conversation. And you're right. It is a completely different podcast about who should train Ryan Garcia. I will say we keep referring to Gervonta Davis's trainer as his trainer, but actually we're talking about Calvin Ford. So just so we're clear about who we're talking about, Calvin Ford is a masterful trainer.
Did I get the name wrong? Same person, right?
Yeah, Calvin Ford is his name. I just was referring to him as Tank's trainer instead of actually calling who he is. Yeah, Calvin Ford. So I just want to make sure shout out Calvin Ford, who's a masterful trainer, who's done an amazing job with Gervonta Davis and has been with Gervonta Davis since the beginning. Since Gervonta Davis was, 7, 5, 4, I don't know. So something like that. 7, I think, is the age. I forget. But out of Baltimore, Maryland.
Yep. But for him to throw his hat in the ring at Ryan, whether it was put together by a publicist or it's just a residual of the fight itself, doing the study for Tank, he saw something that he thought he could improve on, that he would do. Because he saw that talent there, and it's a different field than Tank, right? But he wants to apply his work to it. Yeah. So for him to say something is, a tribute. Yeah. And there's a bunch of other trainers out there, but I'm talking about this trainer.
I think Calvin.
Talk about all the other ones too. Yes, of course, but his style, because it's a style that's. It's aggressive, but defensively, it's great.
Harold, okay, responsible. So I'm from the Philly area. I mean, I'm not originally. I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. Shout out Brooklyn. But I am in the Philadelphia market, and that means that we spend lots of time up in Baltimore and Washington, D.C. And what I will tell you about the fighters that come from Washington, D.C. and the fighters that come out of Baltimore, those boys can fight. And the trainers are amazing. They're dedicated. They're focused. Calvin Ford is an example of a trainer who, has had that, every trainer wants that one fighter to walk through the door. He's got that guy in Gervonta Davis. I don't think that would ever happen, that Ryan Garcia, I mean, it's probably, hey, if you ever want to come and train with us, come on over. It's like it's a nicety, but I don't know and I don't even think that that's the right style for Ryan Garcia, to be honest. And I'm sure the listeners are going crazy. They're probably like, he's not going to train there. That's not the style. But who am I to say?
Thank you for answering it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
tiptoeing around it.
Yeah. I don't.
I asked you 3 times.
Yeah. Well, I got to go the long route because we are on a podcast, and our main goal is to talk. So, for those of you that want me to get there really quickly, we wouldn't have a freaking podcast if I got there quickly.
Yeah, but you can expound when you get there quickly. Then you can expound on why you got there quickly, and there's dialogue there also. Yeah. But that being said, who else is out there for him to train? who else would you go to? Would you bring people out of retirement? Would you give him to Floyd Mayweather Sr.? Hell.
Man, I don't know.
Would you give him Floyd's not going to do it full time. Who would you give it to?
Well,
would you give it to yourself?
So I could do magic with him. I definitely could do magic with Ryan Garcia. But I would also say this, Harold. The listeners are going to have to wait until the next episode of the Boxing Breakdown to find out who Ryan Garcia gets to train with. We'll come back and we'll rock that on the next episode of the Boxing Breakdown, okay? And we're gonna have to say goodbye. Thank you for being with us. And wherever you're listening to the podcast, whether you're watching or listening, we appreciate you being with us. And Ben Roxey, thanks for your amazing comment. I'm going to put it up again. Best boxing podcast, Harold. This is the best boxing podcast. Thanks, Ben Roxey. Share and like. All right. We love you guys. Peace and love. We'll catch you on the next episode of the Boxing Breakdown.
Fight fans, join host Mark Roxey and special guests as they break down all aspects of the boxing world, including news, business, management, training, promotions, fan reactions, upcoming events, matchups, future boxing stars, title fights, state of the boxing world, and all the stuff you don't see when you watch boxing. This podcast is released each week on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Live streamed on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook Live. It's the Boxing Breakdown, hosted by Mark Roxey.